Howdy, folks. Would you Walls from NeedCoffee.com here. Back again for another Wayhomer review. Here's how it works for the uninitiated. I've just left the cinema where I've seen a film, and I'm going to talk to you about it on my way home. And this evening's selection is Sucker Punch. Okay, so Sucker Punch, what can we say about Sucker Punch? Alright. Synopsis is this. You can't get much of a synopsis from the trailer because the trailer was an unmitigated mess and mashup of different styles and explosions and guns and swords and stuff like that. But here's the synopsis. There's an unmitigated mess. No, I'm kidding. Basically, the close. You have our protagonist, ostensibly known as Baby Doll, who is in a bit of a bad situation that ends her up in an asylum, and she does not want to stay there. So she does two things. First of all, she sort of retreats into a fantasy world so that she can best deal with what's going on around her. And she also makes plans to exit the facility as soon as possible under her own power. And in the process enlists other people that are there to try to help her do this. And thus, we're plunged into all kinds of craziness, despite being in an asylum, even more craziness, and things go on from there. Thus, guns, swords, steampunk zombie Nazis, all kinds of things. So yeah, there's your synopsis. So here's the deal. I mean, the trailer is this. The trailer basically does a really good job of setting you up for what you know is going to be a hodgepodge of pretty much everything. It's almost like Zack Snyder, of course, who brought us Watchmen and 300, who is about to embark on the strange journey that is a Superman film. It's almost like he thought, well, I need to get all this other stuff out of my system as much as I can before I start going to make big tentpole, summer movie things. And so he tried to cram everything into one film possible. Hot chicks, robotic samurai with Gatling guns, and World War II scenarios, and trains and bombs, and pretty much everything that would exist in, imagine the mind of a guy who has spent probably a good 20 years, he's probably in his 30s, he spent a good 20 years reading manga and watching animated films and fantasy and sci-fi and all this stuff, and imagine that guy's id. And that's pretty much what the film is. It's like you just took a big extraction needle and pulled that out, and then you just snorted it. I mean, that's pretty much what the film is. So the trailer sets you up for the fact that it's going to be a big mess. And a lot of it really is a big mess. Where I think the film is interesting is, I mean, yes, you've got slow motion action sequences, and you've got CGI environments, and you've got, everything. I mean, pretty much extrapolate on what you saw in the trailer, and that's the majority of the film. And that's a good thing. And I think it actually is, I mean, in one sense, let's start here. Does it deliver on the promise of the trailer? Yes. Yes, it does. Does it deliver to the extent that it's like, wow, I can't wait to see that again? Not so much. But I think what's interesting about the film is that it actually does try to do something other than just be this mashup of all this various stuff and to just, flat out entertain. It actually does want to carry some kind of a message across, and it actually does want to go in a few directions that you're not necessarily anticipating. While, the promise of the title of, wow, I'm completely unprepared for everything that I saw, actually, no, not really. I mean, I would say a good 91% of what was coming, I pretty much knew what was coming. But then again, that was what I was there for. I mean, it wasn't like I showed up wanting to see, Robert Altman's Sucker Punch, or, even Tim Burton's Sucker Punch, or, heaven forbid, Merchant Ivory Sucker Punch. I wanted Zack Snyder's Sucker Punch, and I got it, okay? So that's good. But I think it's when he tried to take it beyond that I really think it excelled, and that's when it really went from a 2.5 cup film to a 3 cup film, which is where it stays. You know, do I wish there might have been some more, you know, substance to it? Oh yeah, sure. You can always do a little bit more to what's the word I'm looking for? To kind of rise above the station of the film that you're in, right? But you can't get upset at this film for being what it is and being what it promised you in the trailer. So there's that. You know, you can say some stuff about the acting, but really, the actors, they're all just kind of there. I mean, Gina Malone does a really good job as Rocket. She kind of stuck out. I think it's Abby Cornish who plays her sister. I think that's right. But I mean, most of the other roles, and Vanessa Hudgens and Jamie Chung and even Emily Browning, whose baby doll honestly doesn't have that many lines. You know, they're just sort of there. I mean, they're basically taking a back seat to the madness that is the film. But again, that's what you showed up for. I mean, there's literally a sequence with airborne orcs, in which I said out loud, "This is what you came for," because it is. So, I mean, yeah, should you see it on the big screen? If this is your sort of film, if the trailer appealed to you at all, then yeah. I mean, go catch a matinee, but be prepared for a little bit of insanity and be prepared to hang on, because it's a ride. I mean, it's basically a theme park ride. You know, great soundtrack, interesting effects, nothing really in the effects market where I just went, oh, God, it sucks. So, you know, I'm pleased. I feel sated. Could it have been better? Yes, but for what it was, I thought it did a pretty good job. Yeah, I mean, it's Zack Snyder's Sucker Punch, which in itself is harder to say than it was to watch. So 3 cups for that, and we go from there. So that's it for that Wayhomer. We'll be back here with another one. So I appreciate everybody who watches these things, as always. If you do watch and enjoy this and gain some bit of information from it, or would like to pass it on to someone else, please feel free to do so. Stumble upon Facebook, Twitter, however it is that you share things. We're actually posting stuff on Dig again after not getting much of anything out of it. But we're trying it again. So if you're on Dig, look us up, because we're on there and we're trying to get the word out, and we appreciate your help with that. So until next time, we will see you on the site, and we'll say be good. Bye. Actually, you know what? Here's a closing thought. If you really want to encapsulate the experience, you remember how the movie Willow by Ron Howard was basically just something that they gave ILM to do to keep from getting bored? That's what this film feels a lot like. It's like, well, we've got these great ability to do green screen stuff. I'm bored. Let's make a film. Let's call it Sucker Punch. But again, that's what you came for.